When you think of the most powerful empire in history, what comes to mind? For most people, the answer is Rome. The Roman Empire, with its legions, its vast territories, its engineering marvels, and its enduring legacy. We see its influence everywhere, from our laws and languages to our architecture. Rome is the benchmark, the gold standard of ancient power. But what if I told you that story is incomplete? What if I told you there was another empire, a contemporary of Rome, that was not only its equal, but in many ways, its superior? An empire so powerful, so vast and so wealthy that even the proud Romans looked upon it with a mix of awe, envy, and fear. This is the story of Rome's greatest rival, an empire that history has largely forgotten, but one that, at its peak, cast a shadow that even Rome could not ignore. So, who was this mysterious powerhouse? Let's travel east, far beyond the familiar borders of the Roman world, beyond Greece and Egypt, to the lands of Persia. We're talking about the Parthian Empire, and later, its even more formidable successor, the Sasanian Empire. These weren't just regional kingdoms causing trouble on the frontier. They were superpowers in their own right, ruling over a sprawling territory that stretched from the Euphrates River deep into Central Asia, controlling the heart of the lucrative Silk Road. While Rome was consolidating its power in the West, this eastern giant was building a civilization that rivaled Rome in every conceivable way. Militarily, economically, and culturally. Let's start with the military. Rome is famous for its legions, the disciplined infantry that conquered the Mediterranean. But when those legions marched east, they met their match. The Parthians and Sasanians were masters of a different kind of warfare. Their armies were built around two terrifying units. The cataphracts, heavily armored cavalry that were essentially ancient tanks, and the horse archers, swift, deadly, and maddeningly elusive. The Roman legionary, with his short sword and heavy shield, was designed for close-quarters combat. He had no answer for an enemy that could shower his formation with arrows from a distance, then charge with unstoppable force. The first time Rome truly understood this was at the Battle of Carrhae in 53 BC. The fabulously wealthy Roman general, Marcus Licinius Crassus, led 7 legions into Parthian territory, expecting an easy victory. He was arrogant, overconfident, and completely unprepared. What happened was a disaster of epic proportions. The Parthian horse archers surrounded the Roman formations, pinning them down with a relentless storm of arrows. The Romans formed their famous testudo, or tortoise formation, but the Parthian arrows were so powerful they could pierce the shields. When the Romans tried to advance, the Parthian cataphracts crashed into their lines, shattering them completely. Crassus was killed, his army was annihilated, and the sacred legionary standards were captured, a humiliation Rome would not forget for centuries. Carrhae wasn't a fluke. For the next 700 years, the deserts and plains of the East would become a graveyard for Roman ambitions. Emperors from Trajan to Julian the Apostate would lead massive armies against the Persians, and time and again, they would be fought to a bloody standstill or forced into a humbling retreat. The Persians even accomplished something no other power ever did. They captured a Roman emperor alive. In 260 AD, the Sasanian king Shapur I defeated the Roman army at the Battle of Edessa and took the Emperor Valerian prisoner. Imagine the shock that sent through the Roman world. Their emperor, a figure they considered almost a god, was now a captive. Shapur famously used Valerian as a human footstool to mount his horse, a symbol of ultimate dominance that was carved into rock reliefs for all to see. Now, let's talk about money. Power isn't just about armies. It's about wealth. Rome was rich, no doubt, drawing taxes and resources from its vast provinces. But the Persian Empire sat astride the single most valuable trade route in the ancient world, the Silk Road. All the exotic goods from China and India silk, spices, precious gems had to pass through Persian territory to reach the Roman market. This meant the Persian kings could tax this trade at will, accumulating staggering fortunes that dwarfed even the Roman treasury. They controlled the flow of luxury, and they made Rome pay dearly for it. This immense wealth funded their powerful armies, built magnificent cities like their capital Ctesiphon, and sponsored incredible advancements in art, science, and culture. While Rome's economy was based largely on agriculture and conquest, the Persian economy was a dynamic engine of international commerce. The capital city, Ctesiphon, located near modern-day Baghdad, was a wonder of the ancient world. It was larger, and by many accounts, more magnificent than Rome itself. Its centerpiece was the Tak Khosra, a palace with the largest single-span brick arch in the world, an architectural feat that still stands today and defies belief. When the Arabs eventually conquered the city in the 7th century, they were so overwhelmed by the sheer opulence, the gold, the silver, the carpets woven with jewels, that they were literally lost for words. This was the heart of an empire that could afford a level of luxury that even Roman emperors would envy. Culturally, the Persian Empire was a vibrant melting pot. While Rome was spreading Latin and its own customs, the Persian court was a cosmopolitan hub where ideas from the East and West met and mingled. They were pioneers in fields like medicine, astronomy, and mathematics. The Academy of Gandhishapur was one of the most important centers of learning in the late ancient world, attracting scholars from Greece, India, and beyond. Much of the Greek scientific and philosophical knowledge that was later reintroduced to Europe during the Renaissance was preserved and expanded upon in Persia during this period. They weren't just imitating, they were innovating, creating a rich and unique civilization that stood as a true equal to the Greco-Roman world. So, if this empire was so powerful, so wealthy, and so advanced, why has it been overshadowed by Rome in our popular imagination? There are a few key reasons. First, what we call Western civilization directly traces its lineage back to Greece and Rome. Our legal systems, our languages, and our political philosophies are built on a Roman foundation. We tell Rome's story because, in many ways, it's our own origin story. The second reason is sources. Most of our historical accounts of this period were written by Romans or Greeks. And as the old saying goes, history is written by the victors, or at least by those whose writings survive. The Roman authors, like Tacitus and Cassius Dio, naturally portrayed Rome as the center of the world and their eastern rivals as barbarians, even when those barbarians were defeating their legions and capturing their emperors. We have far fewer surviving texts from the Persian perspective, so we often see them through the biased lens of their enemies. But the archaeological evidence and a careful reading of the sources tell a different story. They reveal a world that wasn't unipolar, dominated by a single Roman hyperpower. Instead, it was a bipolar world with two colossal empires, Rome in the west and Persia in the east, locked in a centuries-long struggle for supremacy. They were the two superpowers of their day, locked in a kind of ancient Cold War, complete with proxy wars, espionage, and a delicate balance of power. Neither could permanently destroy the other. When one was strong, the other was often in a period of crisis, and vice versa. They were the two lungs of the ancient world, and for nearly 1,000 years, they defined the geopolitical landscape. The final epic confrontation between them in the early 7th century conflict known as the Last Great War of Antiquity exhausted both empires so completely that it left them vulnerable to the new, unexpected force of the Arab conquests, which would change the world forever. So the next time you picture the ancient world, don't just see the Colosseum and Roman legions. Look east to the shimmering domes of Ctesiphon, to the thundering charge of the cataphracts, and to the immense wealth of the Silk Road. Remember the Parthian and Sasanian empires. They were not a footnote in Rome's story. They were the other half of the story, a powerful, brilliant, and enduring civilization that challenged Rome, matched it, and in many ways surpassed it. They were the empire that terrified Rome, the rival that history forgot, but whose legacy is just as crucial to understanding the world we live in today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey into the lost history of Rome's greatest rival fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that history books often leave out. Let me know in the comments what other forgotten histories you'd like to explore. See you in the next video.